Take two. So this video is going to be called "What Will It Take?" or "What I Believe." Now let's get down to it. Uh, how am I going to put this? As things are right now, we are on a death march, and I'm going to start this part of this is going to start this video off very depressing, and I'm going to hopefully end on a high note. What people are doing is dying willingly. People want to die. What I mean by that is people who aren't being, I'm not talking about people who are being murdered. I'm not talking about people who are, you know, put in other situations physically by other people and being tortured to death. I'm talking about people who have some agency over how they move their limbs and what they do, right? Then unless someone's holding a gun to your head, you can pick what you do tomorrow, for the most part. I'm talking about those people. And what I'm seeing is symptoms of that, where now I'm going to struggle to put concepts into words, right? So, much like a child can't put things into words that it knows, I'm trying to put concepts into words that we all know, but it changes when you try to speak it. So here it goes. That we have free will. Free will exists, right? That the only time we don't have free will is when we're born and when we're babies. So that's yes and no, We kind of have it, right? But when we start being able to walk around, then we have it. And what I mean by that is that people want to say that they're miserable because of this. I'm miserable because of that, or I hate this, or I hate it, or this person did that, or this person, if my parents didn't make that decision, right? One example I'll bring up to make this real quick to wrap up this part is about loneliness. And I think the video is "Why Are You Single?" So you don't have to watch the video. I'll basically say the synopsis is people who say they're suicidal and who kill themselves because they're lonely, who have a family around them, right? And one thing I've heard someone bring this up, I can't remember where, is that, and I think it was in joking, but all jokes start in the truth. So I think the person was basically telling the truth in the joke. Was don't think of it as going out with your brother and sister, think about it as going out with your best friend. And I'd say that's correct, a human being. And if ending your life is better, is more appealing to you than shagging your siblings, there's something else going on. And not to rehash things I've already said, but that's just it, right? And what's going on is a death march, a generational death march, and it's getting worse and worse. And we see bits and pieces, and people bring up kids because they're an example, right? If kids are the best part of humanity, then adults are the worst part of humanity, right? So if you are someone who's given up and you are in complete darkness, so let's just say that you're in darkness and your eyes starts to adjust. You start getting used to being in the darkness you've put yourself in. Or if someone else has put you in there, you decided to stay there, right? And then all of a sudden, you basically, you can see your hands in front of you. Things aren't as dark now, and this bright light shows up. like a flashbulb, and you just cover your foot. You recoil, put your hand in front of your face, like a flashbang. Like the army goes in to a dark room, they breach and clear, they bang the door down, and they throw a flashbang, and everything goes white. That's what it's like seeing a kid for people who've given up, right? And I would say the only reasonable way you can give up and have no more people is if everybody in the world stops having people. I'm gonna let that sink in. That if you're pregnant, abort your baby, and if you have kids, smother them in their sleep. Because in many cases, that's better off that they end like that than the world you made for them. You set this world up to fail for every other generation, every next generation coming up. Yeah, that's right. Boomers and then Gen Z and then millennials. So you got, the boomers were, whatever. Gen Z were a little bit more, soft, why say. And then the millennials were like the extreme example of that. So the pendulum has swung all the way the other way and now it's swinging back. And I'll just use millennials because they're the closest example. What they have done is they wanted free healthcare. They wanted free everything. And now Gen Alpha is going to be coming up. Everything's more expensive. Things are being taken over by AI because the millennials didn't want to work. So corporations were forced to use AI. Or bring in illegal immigrants like they're doing when Bush was president. And Obama. And every generation voted for people, right? Voted for people who made things worse for the next generation. Until there's nothing left. I'm just gonna give the timeline. The boomers voted for child labor laws. Gen Z voted for what's it called? Age of consent, which has proven has done jack shit. Child trafficking still works. I don't know exactly what that law was meant to stop, but it's done nothing. Much like getting rid of the groomers has done nothing. Give yourself a soy latte. You've earned it, champ. Anyway, so that's what the next generation has to contend with, right? And on top of that, you have, because some of the Zoomers wanted to work. Some of them worked actual jobs, but millennials don't want to work actual jobs. So there are people that are aging out. The Zoomers wanted to work in office buildings. Those are mainly the age of people that work in offices. The Boomers, those people are working in infrastructure. Everybody that's keeping the lights going, everybody who's fixing shit when there's a hurricane, those are the people keeping things going. So what's going to happen when they drop dead? And not only that, the machines they're working on are older than them. How do I know this? There are videos of people who are 50, 60 years old posting videos on YouTube. So maybe once all the shitty influencers are gone, you'll have to actually feed your brain. Whatever. So what's going to happen when those people are dead, right? Robotics is not at a place where it can replace people who turn valves and use wrenches and welders. And if you want to know this example, look at what happened at Fukushima Daiichi. They tried sending robots in. I think Boston Dynamics tried to send robots in. Those things were melting down. And they eventually were like, hey, we just got to send people in. We just got to send the people in. We have more people. These robots are expensive. They're not cutting the mustard. So what's going to happen is by the time Gen Alpha comes up and they're old enough to work, the boomers are going to start dying. If not, most of them will already be dead. There'll be no one running the power plants. So basically, Gen Alpha and Omega, if it ever even comes around, will be born in Eastern Europe. And the generations that came before them lived off the fat of someone else's work until all the fat was gone, until all the good juicy meat was gone. And now Gen Alpha is stuck nibbling on bones. There's no sports in the school. They're being taught that ugly is pretty. And there's no standard for success being taught. 2 and 2 could be 4, but it could also be 5. Or teaching that 2 men or 2 women can raise kids, never mind the fact that women are weaker than men. And I could say that because I've talked to women who are firefighters. They had to take testosterone. Same thing with the Army. And you see lesbian couples who, raise kids. One of them ends up looking like a man. Women are not meant to beat a kid's ass. That's just how it is. A man is meant to beat the kid's ass. The kid fucks up, acts like a little shit, you beat the ass. Yeah, damn right it's supposed to hurt. Yeah, damn right spankings work. If you're not willing to spank your kid because he's acting like a shit, you don't love your kid. Love isn't love, it's negligence. Okay? You're not there to be their friend, you're there to be their parent. Because you don't knock that shit down, the rest of the world will have to. As you can see what's happening with the millennials. The rest of the world is having to spank their ass. Collective shout, more like collective pout. Well, I'm unattractive. No one like me. Nah. Anime titties. How far along is this video? So, I think to get towards the end, I'm also going to bring up the whole thing with free will again. Everybody wants free will, just like everybody wants accountability, right? But the same people who want to hold someone else accountable, they don't want to be held accountable. No, don't look at me. Don't look at me because I'm doing fine. I'm okay. I don't need. Well, you wanted to course correct someone else's boat. You wanted to stick your hands in there on the steering wheel and knock their hands out of the way. Of course, it's easy to do that when it's kids. Might as well put them in a car and cut the brakes and blame them for crashing. But yeah, if you want to end, then fine. right? If you want to commit mental suicide, where you're basically waiting to die, okay, sure. But the problem comes from doing that to other people. They're not only going into your grave, but trying to drag other people by their feet in there with you. And then trying to climb out on their backs. I would liken what's going on in the world as a zombie apocalypse. It's not fentanyl. It's not crocodile. It's not flesh-eating bacteria. It's hateful, mentally diseased fuckers, generations of them, feeding off misery like a fucking parasite. And any little glimmer of hope, they are drawn to like a locust, a bug that just wipes all the life out and then goes from one place to another. People say liberals are like that. Stupid locusts. They fuck up one state after another and wonder why it's happening. Only thing it's not just liberals anymore. People can't say it's about politics or religion anymore. You don't even think about it. It's instinct now. So you all want to put energy into hating each other and destroying light. As long as there's a baby in someone's womb, it's not your choice to end. You don't get to make the world end. You can vote for whatever the fuck you want. And things may be bad for a couple of years. Or at least a generation. But the next generation after that's going to fix it. America and other countries have been course corrected so many fucking times. Yeah, it's a setback. But it's just a setback. So go ahead. I'm going to end soon. Go ahead, grow old under weight of guilt. But stop eating other people's flesh. Stop eating their brains. Or do you want to put energy into something? Yeah, how about the fucking purge? Gen Alpha and Omega aren't going to put up with fucking shits. Old shits wandering around trying to fuck things up. As a matter of fact, Gen Z is sick of y'all. Because they had to at least work for shit, even if it wasn't in office. You millennial fuckers are the one in Silicon Valley making all this AI shit, taking people's jobs. Do you think the next couple of generations are going to wait until you're old to deal with you? You think places like Canada are the only ones that are going to have suicide clinics? Because millennials aren't having kids. Most of them aren't having kids. So your ass is going to end up in a retirement home. A state-run retirement home where there's going to be no money to run it. And you're going to be fucking eating cat food. Anyway, what will it take? Nothing. As long as there are people being born, the machine will keep going. And as long as the next generation is willing to get into the cogs and run like a hamster, just for the chance at a better future, then the machine will keep going. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a good day.